What's up, everybody? It's your boy Josh from JTM Racing. What's going on? So today we're going to be wrenching on the turboed Civic. I know you guys have been wanting some Honda content, so here we are. What we're going to be doing is I used to have M3 mirrors on the Civic and I removed them to paint them, but they're going to be color matched with the car, so I'm not going to be painting them anytime soon. So we're going to just reinstall them. I never wired them up originally. I actually want to wire them up so the side markers or the blinkers actually work and are functional. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. I know it's been about a month since I've posted a video, but been super busy. Been out of town a couple times. Went to California for work, went to California for family, went to California for a family event. Just been to Cali a lot lately, so I really haven't had time to get any footage or make any videos, but we're doing one today. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're reinstalling the M3 mirrors. They're off of eBay, they're super cheap. I know a lot of people are gonna talk shit and say it's rice. I really don't care. I think they look pretty dope, and if they're done right, they'll look good. These ones, the fitment is all right, but you can make them work and they're not too bad. The one complaint I do have about them is the mirrors are super small and they only adjust so much. But it's better than having no side mirrors. So yeah, we're gonna be installing those, wiring them up, and showing you the best way it can be done. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so here's the M3 mirrors. Now I know they look a little rough, a little dull. I did sand them down a little bit in the past, and they have also been sitting on this shelf for, I don't know, 3 years plus. When you buy them off eBay, I think they're around like 50 bucks or so. You got your wiring harness. You have two choices in LED color, blue and amber, and depending on how you wire them up is how you're gonna get your color choice. So white and black would be amber, black and blue would be blue. You will have to do some trimming on the brackets on this backing plate of the mirror because they come extra long. They were probably about 2 inches long, and I trimmed them all the way down to a ½ inch. I think they do that because these probably fit multiple different Honda applications, and I'm pretty sure as far as the back spacing from the mirror plate to the door might be different on all of them. So they let you have a little bit of a flexibility. But we're also going to be using some weather stripping that I bought from Home Depot in between the mirror and the door, so these seal up nice and we don't get any condensation in the car from them. The tools that you're probably going to need is like wire strippers, a pair of dikes, electrical tape. We're also going to be doing soldering. We're not going to be using like no butt connectors or anything like that. It's going to be done very clean, very professional. But yeah, that's what we got here. So the first thing we're going to do is get the mirrors mounted. I need to pull off this masking tape. I had it here so no water would get into the car while they were off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wipe this all down, clean it up, so the double-sided tape on the weather stripping has something good to adhere to. And then we're going to do a nice triangle of weather stripping. So once we bolt the mirror down, that seals up very nice. But yeah, let's get them mounted and then we'll jump to the wiring. Alright guys, so me and Willie removed the masking tape from both doors. I wiped down the area with a wet microfiber. No chemical, no rubbing alcohol, just a wet microfiber. Those other chemicals will actually leave a residue, even rubbing alcohol, and you're going to have to wipe it down with a wet microfiber anyways. I just do a really good wipe job, be real thorough with it, get all the dirt removed, and your double-sided tape will stick to it. So yeah, Now we're gonna cut me out some pieces of weather stripping. Probably gonna measure all this so I can get exact size. I want it to look really clean, even though it's not gonna be seen. I know what's under it. So we're gonna do that, get the weather stripping on, then we'll come back, and then we'll bolt the mirrors back on. All right, so I got all my weather stripping trimmed out. Now, if you can see, they're cut at angles. The reason why is so when they come together, they'll make a perfect seal. And you need to remember, because I did this multiple times and kept messing up and it was pissing me off, they need to mirror each other. So when you're cutting your gaskets or your weather stripping, don't make the same exact ones. They mirror each other. They're the opposite. Just remember that. All right, so this is what it looks like with the weather stripping installed. Came out pretty good, should seal up very nicely. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, let's get these mirrors installed. Sick. Both mirrors are on the car. Came out super good. I'm happy. I might change these way down the road with like a basic spoon style or like an F1 style mirror. I like these. I think they're not bad looking, but I do think there is other mirrors that would look better. But we're gonna rock these out for now. These are the mirrors I do have, and I got better things to spend my money on. I think once they're fully functional, I'll fall for them even a little bit more. But yeah, they don't look too bad. But I think there are other mirrors that would look better, so. But yeah, me and Willie have been discussing it for a while, how we're gonna wire these up exactly. I think we got a nice little plan together on how we're gonna tackle this. We're gonna have to pull the front fenders off first, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do to get these things all wired up and working. All right, so me and Willie got both fenders off. Let me show you what our original plan was and what we chose to do instead. So originally what we were gonna do is feed the wire through the door, through this grommet down here, if you can see it, going through the factory harness back into the car and tying in to like a blinker relay, or going back out to the engine bay and tying in to our blinkers. What I want to do, and I think it's going to be a little bit easier, and I think it'll still be clean just depending on how we do it. We're going to run the wire through the door. We're going to drill our own holes, or own hole, right in the door up top here. We're going to feed it along the inside of the fender well, all the way to our blinker, and then tie into our blinker wiring. Now it'll be all clean, it'll be all shrink tubed. We'll have a grommet on the door side so the wire is not rubbing on bare metal. and then you shouldn't even really be able to notice it. I mean, anyone that knows Hondas are going to realize it's not factory, but it's just going to be a little wire going from here to here. It'll be clean. It'll be all black shrink wrapped. It'll look like nothing serious, but that's what we're going to do. On another note, I am super pissed off and super upset. While we had these fenders off, I was like, let me try out the wide body fenders that I bought. That were super expensive, and they don't even come close to fitting right. Fitment is garbage. Garbage. And I'm super pissed. They were $800. And I can't even use them. So I'm going to have to go a different route now with the fenders. I'll probably use the factory fenders. Maybe do some type of like wide body fairing. Or some type of wide body fender flare. But yeah, I mean, my idea was to put the wide body ones on and actually make some money off of these OEM ones. Post them up on OfferUp, you know, like $100. Let someone take them, have some good, you know, stock fenders. But these piece of shits don't fit a worth of shit. So yeah, super unhappy about that. But yeah, let's get these mirrors wired up. All right, so the soldering process begins. I got Willie here. He's getting the soldering gun hot and ready, and I'm gonna explain what we got going on here. So I cut myself 4 pieces of 5-foot 22 gauge wiring. I believe the wiring that came with the mirrors is 24 gauge. I didn't have anything that small. This is close enough. When you're doing any type of wiring, you usually want to use the same gauge or the same size wiring, or close. Using something too small or too big can cause electrical issues. Where did I get this wiring? If you get yourself a nice little wrap from Harbor Freight like I did, I think this thing was like $19.99, somewhere around there. You can have, you know, 12 rolls of wire that come in handy. They do have bigger sets, which I would like to get one sooner or later. But right now I don't really need one, but it would be nice to have on hand. Like I said, definitely comes in handy. But yeah, we got all of our ends stripped right here that we're going to be soldering. I haven't done this side yet because we might have to trim some of this. Originally we were going to do 4-foot sections, but we did 5-foot just to have a little extra to be safe. But yeah, let's get started on this. So today didn't really go as planned. Ran into a few things that made me not too happy. First thing first, found out those wide body fenders that I ordered and they took forever to get and they were expensive as shit. Don't fit at all. Fitment is like horrible, beyond horrible. So that's garbage. And then I think I'm gonna go a different route with wiring up the mirrors on the Civic. We're still gonna rock out those mirrors. That hasn't changed. But I don't know if I'm gonna go through the top of the door like I said. I might just go through that speaker wiring loom down below. But the only thing that sucks that I'm upset about is I already drilled the holes up top. If I can find some type of grommet that fits those real well, I'll probably still use that hole to feed the wiring through. But I wish I thought about it more and just ran it through the speaker wire loom. I think actually in the long run it would have looked cleaner. I wouldn't have been drilling any holes into the doors, and just be a cleaner job. I mean, either way, it won't really look that bad. I'm just kind of unhappy. I wish I kind of thought about it a little bit more. It is what it is, man. You live and you learn, so oh well. But yeah, we'll definitely pick up this video probably next weekend. It's all going to be tied into this same video. So in about a second here, it'll be next weekend. Yo, what up? So it's the next weekend and we're going to continue installing the M3 mirrors on the Civic. Let's do this shit. All right, everybody. So we got Willie here. What's up? And we're going to continue this M3 mirror install. Now, I did pick up a few more things off of Amazon over the week. Didn't spend that much money, and it's going to come in handy for a lot of other projects. But I did pick up a whole pack of universal pigtails. It has a power and ground wire, so this is going to work perfect for our application. Got some longer length heat shrink tubing, 1/4 inch. I got power and ground wiring. It's like 24 gauge, a whole roll of it. We're not using it because Willie did already solder these wires, and they're going to be all heat shrink wrapped, so it doesn't really matter. You're not going to see what color they are. But ideally, it wouldn't be bad using all matching colors. So if you need to trace a wire, you know what you're tracing. We did pick up a few more grommets that don't fit, so we're still going to have to figure something out about that. I kind of want to get the rest done. I got some self-soldering connectors. Never use these. These would be cool to use. I want to see how they work. And then I bought some aftermarket clamps that have like rubber inserts, and that's how we're going to mount our wiring to the inner fender well. And then if we ever decide to, you know, do like a wire tuck, we can just go with a bigger size and then tuck all of our wiring in here instead of the engine bay. That was just like an afterthought though. But yeah, we're going to finish up these mirrors. All right, guys, so we got our wiring strip that we're going to be soldering to. Our green is our power, our black is our ground. We got the soldering iron heating up so we can solder on these pigtails. We did go as far as testing the wire to make sure that is our power, and how we did that is we turn on the hazards and this wire pulsates, because we're going to be running these mirrors as blinkers, not side markers. M3s, and these are blinkers. So yeah, let's get these bad boys soldered on and move along. So Willie got all the soldering done, came out super clean. This is bare bones. It's going to look a lot better than this when it's complete. Still got to put heat shrink tubing on it. And then we're going to also run a few pieces on all of our solders. So, you know, here, 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 here. This is our pigtail with our mirror harness tied into our blinker setup. That's how we're getting our power and ground. Both sides are done. Super excited. These mirrors have never worked before. Hey, Willie, turn on the hazards. So let me close this door. I want to get a little closed door action. Oh, yeah. Sick, dude. Everybody can talk their shit, saying that's rice. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of these mirrors anymore. I still do like them. I think if the car's painted a certain color and it's just cleaned up, like we do some smoke ambered corners, maybe we smoke these lenses, and then these are painted actual car color. So, you know, if I go gray, they're gray. If I go green, they're green. Just all color matched. But I think they look pretty legit, man. What do you think, Will? You think they came out good or what?
Very good.
Yeah. For, you know, 7 years I've had these mirrors. Over 5, now that I think about it for sure. So probably like 7 years. Never had them wired up. Shit, they haven't been on the car since I turboed it. It's 5 years ago. So, super stoked. So let's get this thing all wrapped up. So next, we're going to get these wiring harnesses all cleaned up. And we're going to put a heat shrink tubing on all of it. It's going to look way better after that. Let's get cranking on it. Alright, so this is what our roll of heat shrink tubing's for. It's 1/4 inch, so it shrinks quite a bit. And it'll make all this wiring super teedy and tight. But yeah, we're going to wrap these completely. And it's going to make it actually look like a factory harness. And then me and Willie still kind of need to figure out how we're going to wrap these. We might cut some heat shrink tubing and actually try to get them around here and get it to melt together. Or we might just use some like basic electrical tape, which I kind of want to stay away from, but if we have to, we have to. So yeah, let's wrap these harnesses. All right, so here's our harnesses. The heat shrink tubing made them look way better. We did have to mess with them quite a bit to get the wiring through the heat shrink tubing. It was a pain in the ass. So we actually took some super skinny wire, duct taped it to our wiring to feed it through the heat shrink tubing. And It's like when you're pushing it through or feeding it, every time there was like a notch in the tubing, it just would jam up right there. But yeah, so we're gonna take these harnesses, we're gonna feed them through the car. Really just one hole. It's just the hole that we drilled in our doors. Which I said I wasn't gonna use that hole, but I changed my mind since the hole is there. I just need to get a rubber grommet to fit those holes perfectly to where it looks pretty decent. And then I'll be fine with it. So yeah, he's running these harnesses through and at least get them like anchored to the inner fender well, and then probably bolt up the front fenders. So we got all our wiring ran. Now we just need to anchor it to the inner fender wells. So this side I'm going to be using those rubber insulated clamps with probably self tappers. And then this side I'll probably run one or two, but I think I'm going to zip tie this along the hood latch cable. But yeah, let's get that done so we can get the wiring all mounted. We can throw the fenders back on. So I got all the holes marked where I want to drill to mount the wiring with those rubber insulated clamps. Now, like I said, this side's only going to get one, which is the driver's side, and then our passenger side's going to get three. The first hole that we have on both sides that are identical is this one in the rear here. The rest of the wiring will zip tie to the hood latch release cable. And then on this side, the two extra ones we're going to have that we don't have on that side is one here in the middle, one over here, and then it can kind of just do its thing. And here's the identical one. We're going to take our self tappers and we're going to pre-drill these with them, and then we'll put up our rubber insulated clamps, tighten those up, and all that stuff will be mounted. Super stoked right now. This came out super good. So that's how we ran this wire on the driver's side. Nice and clean. Once we bolt the fender up, not too sure if we want to go above that bolt hole or below it. We'll see. Below wouldn't be bad, but it might kink up in the door. There's a nice little open spot right through the top here, and that's why we feed it that way. This side came out pretty damn decent too. I don't know why I love that rubber insulated clamp cylinder on that corner like that. It's like art. Look how nasty this thing is. Ugh. So it needs to be pressure washed, full tune up, needs a tune, oil change. We need to fix the pan leak. And then we need to throw that test pipe on there and get that welded in so we can actually put the wideband on. And after that, I mean, we can go get it tuned. You do a valve adjustment on it for sure. But hopefully we'll get this knocked out soon. Let's get the fenders on. All right, so the mirrors are done. There are still a few minor changes I want to make, and there's a few parts that we're missing. We need the grommets for the doors where the wire is feeding into the door. It's kind of like an oddball hole. And we need some random ass grommet, something weird that's actually going to fit that. Can't find anything at your local hardware store. I don't have anything that works for it, and I have all kinds of grommets. It's going to be like a cone shape, something really long that slides into this hole and it just holds its position. But yeah, so we need that. This is kind of what we're dealing with. I'll show you real quick. So we need a grommet that like sinks into there. And then one of the changes I do want to make is like the pigtails that we wired up front. Wouldn't mind doing that here. We have enough play in the wire to do that and make it look clean, just so it's plug and play. I mean, this is too, but this kind of looks shitty to me. Definitely want to change that. Got the same thing going on over here. We have a little less play over here, but I think it's just how the wiring is routed to the front. But same thing, got that hole right there. Need that weird grommet of some sort that'll fit that. But mirrors work. Look pretty sick. I dig it. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. It could have been done a little cleaner, but it'll get cleaned up. That's just what we had to work with here. But peace.